Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Ikman Rahman, first author from my article from Group 11. In this presentation, I will talk to you about democratic citizenship in civic education. Hopefully, it will help to increase your knowledge about this topic. My title article is a systematic review of democratic citizenship and civic education. For introduction, a cucumber from means seems to express precisely what we experience in electoral politics. As partisan polls, there is little what we seem to agree on. In response, political scientists and democratic education have tried to understand how we can move away from this culture of divisiveness in order to engage in more civil and deliberative public discourse. Democracy requires listening with respect, taking opposing viewpoints seriously, and finding common ground for the common good. What democratic theorists and educators have described as the sine qua non of enlightened political engagement. Much research has rightly focused on the filing of civic education to prepare students for meaningful democratic participation. Democratic theories and education have contended that high-quality civic education should instill in students a sense of agency towards civic and political participation, or a sense of being a good citizen. A sense of civic agency requires more than memorization of governmental faith. Rather, it requires careful attention to the capacities, connection, and commitment that lead to active participation in the civic realm. The goal of this bibliometric analysis is to examine trends and the influence of publication on the topic of democratic citizenship and civic education published in the last 10 years and factors that affect democratic citizenship should be applied to citizenship education. Methodology we adopt the preferred reporting item for systematic review and meta-analysis. So, Prisma technique, they offer a roadmap to study systematic review objectively, clearly, and transparently. Prisma technique assists as a checklist that the selection of research article was the first step. The time frame of the selected paper was from uh, 2016 to 2023. One of the following keywords had to be present in each of the research papers chosen for the study: democratic citizenship, civic education, citizenship education. This search criterion ensures that the selected literature references democratic citizenship. The initial screening found that 328 articles were published in democratic citizenship during the selected time frame. Subsequent screening with desired keyword generated 254 articles. After using Prisma approach for screening, the final applicable results selected for review were 10 accepted papers. Result and discussion. We have 10 articles who explain that factor the ethic democratic citizenship should be applied to civic education. For example, research, he explained that education for democratic citizenship conceptualized by three dimensions or aspects. There is the development of cognitive, affective, and behavioral competencies. Bun- Buntinan and Pitcharamesri uh, explain the four factors that affect democratic citizenship should be applied to civic education. There is the virtues of participation, social commitment, seeking mutual understanding to deliberation, respect for opposing point of view for citizen in democracy. Next, Nicosta and Ralefa. The framework incorporates five dimensions of civic competence, encompassing the characteristic of active citizen, from the cognitive to the behavioral level. There is knowledge, and then skill, attitude, value, and intended behavior. Next, we have Gibson. Gibson explained that factor that affect democratic citizenship should be applied to civic education is number one, justice-oriented citizen critically analyze social system to move beyond surface level problem. Is always attuned to seeking out and disrupting injustice. Question the taken for granted assumption and establish practice of the status quo in order to better understand the root cause of injustice, perhaps most importantly, understand how to catalyze systemic political change. And Kagan have three factors is value, behavior, and knowledge. Next, Cohen and Ayal explained that in order for a society to be considered democratic, it needs to uphold two conditions. Foremost, the various members need to recognize societies share common interests. Second, there must be free interaction between the different members that will necessarily lead to the readjustment of social norm and habit. Case explained that the factor is political knowledge, civic responsibility, voting in national elections, participation in national and non-confrontational activities, trust in political institutions and political engagement. And then we have GTCO et al. They explained that a democratic citizen is a person who can internalize and implement the basic values and concepts of democracy. It refers to a person who has the ability to make rational decisions based on basic knowledge, democratic values, and personal and social function to improve the quality of life of people. Variable of democratic citizen is human dignity, law-abiding spirit, rational decision-making, and sense of community. Then we have Enrica et al. He explained that factor is what intention to register, campaign, participation, and political competency or efficacy. Then we have Malagonia et al. He explained that factor is critical and independent thinking skill in student, knowledge about citizens' rights and responsibilities, ability to defend one's own view, protection and prevention of environment, involvement in school life, participation in the local community, effective strategies to combat racism and xenophobia. The last is participation in the future of political process. Okay. Discussion. Uh, every country wants the goal of citizenship education to be to create democratic citizens. From the various indicators used as guidelines for each country, there are similarities and differences. So we can draw conclusions that are the main factor in forming democratic citizens. Democratic citizens are people who are able to internalize and implement the basic values and concept of democracy. The competencies that democratic citizens must possess and categorize into five aspects. It is knowledge, skill, attitude, values, and behavior. The conclusion is, as a good citizen, participating in democracy and having dedication to the concept of equal opportunity in diversity must be part of political life, as mass voting, criticizing, and collaborating in community activities. In a democratic society, citizens need to adhere to basic principes such as public sovereignty and the rule of law, and good citizens respect the public interest and have friendly have fundamental values for welfare of society. Therefore, citizenship education is needed to discuss rights, obligations, law, knowledge about democracy, and democratic values. Thank you very much for your attention.